Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On this occasion, we will presenting our material about conditional sentence. But before that, let me introduce our group. First is Muhammad Rizky Bagus Abdi Yudha, and second is Almer Miqdady Fiqyan. Okay, so let's go to the material. What is conditional sentence? In simple terms, a conditional sentence is a compound sentence that contains condition regarding a presupposition, imagination, or an event that has not occurred. In English sentence, this conditional sentence begins with if as a sign that the condition has not yet occurred. The form of a conditional sentence is if clause plus main clause. If you notice, the if clause is a part of the conditional sentence, while the main clause usually contains the consequence or consequence of the previous conditional preposition. So the next is conditional sentence. If you look to the example, if it's rain, we will not come. So what is the dependent and independent clause in this sentence? As you can see, if clause always be dependent clause, because if clause cannot stand alone, and if clause itself show the condition of the sentence. So if it rains is the if clause of the sentence. Okay, and we will not come become independent clause because it can stand alone. So we will not come will be independent clause because it can stand alone, and because independent clause is the main clause, so main clause itself in the sentence show result or consequence. Next is three type of conditional sentence. If you look on this slide, conditional type number 1, 2, and 3 have different characteristics. Conditional sentence first type is true in present or future and show factual condition, and conditional sentence type 2 is untrue in the present or future and contrary to the fact in present or future, and conditional sentence type 3 is untrue in the past and contrary to the fact in past. For the further explanation will be delivered by my friend. Thank you.
Okay, for the next is conditional sentence type 1. In conditional sentence type 1, the if clause we use simple present, and for the result clause we use simple present 2 or simple future. And the example is, if I don't eat breakfast, I always get hungry during the class. And the second is, if I don't breakfast tomorrow morning, I will get hungry during the class. And the third, if the weather is nice tomorrow, we will go on a picnic. And next, conditional sentence type 2. The conditional sentence type 2, we use simple past for if clause and past future tense for result clause. And the example is, if I top this class, I would give test. This example is mean, in truth, I don't teach the class. And the second is, if he were here right now, he would help us. And in truth, he is not here right now. And the third, if I were you, I would accept their invitation. But in truth, I'm not you. And conditional sentence type 3. For the if clause is we use past perfect, and for the result clause we use past future perfect tense. Like the example, if you had told me about the problem, I would have helped you. But in truth, I didn't tell me about it. And the second, if they had studied, they would have passed the exam. In truth, they did not study, they failed the exam. If I had slipped on the ice, I would have broken my arm. In truth, I slept on the ice and I broke my arm. Thank you, that's all for our presentation. Please give a comment. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.